Welcome to our holiday nail art collab with me, Ginger, from Gels and Gems Nails.
And me, Jen, from Nails by Jen. This is our Christmas collab special, and we hope that you enjoy both videos. So don't forget to subscribe to Ginger's channel
and Jen's channel. Let's get started.
Welcome to my channel, guys. I'm super excited for this video. This is my very first collab, and I am so happy to be doing it with Miss Ginger Sparks. You guys will absolutely have to check out her video. I will link it below. She did an amazing design. When she sent it to me, I don't even want to talk about it right now because I don't want to give anything away, but she hand painted something that is so cute, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm going to be doing 5 different designs for you guys. I have my trusty little map. I actually printed these off. I will put the link below where I got these as well. There's different nail shapes that you can get also. So I will link that below for you guys because these come in very handy when you're doing something a little more intricate and your brain just can't remember everything. So I'm going to do each individual nail separately, and I'm going to show you each product that I'm using for each nail, and I'm just going to be doing all of my designs on my swatch sticks. So you guys know I've mentioned before that I really prefer to do my tutorials and my practicing on swatch sticks just because I love having that handle to hold on to. I sometimes find when I'm using my little pumpkin or my other little diamond one that, you know, has the magnet and you just use some sticky tack, it just sometimes the tips always fall off, so it gets frustrating sometimes. I do still like to use that one as well, but I'm going to be doing some acrylic work, and it's a lot easier when I'm filing to do them on swatch sticks. And if you've noticed, I have blunted off the tip, and simply because the display case that I use to showcase all of my tips does not fit the stiletto swatch sticks. They're just a bit too long. So let's get into it because this is exciting. Alright guys, so for the first design, I'm actually going to be using something that I found in my shelf that I totally forgot I had. Again, you guys know I have mentioned several times about having a display shelf on your desk so that when you get something, you can use it, because this is something that I probably purchased 5 years ago and never really used. So this is the Joya Mia Chrome. So they also have a base and a top that I never purchased with this, and you really do need it. This stuff can be a little bit finicky to work with. I did try to play around yesterday with it. So I don't have the base or the top, so I am just going to be applying it directly onto the tip. I did try practicing with it. They did tell me when I emailed them or messaged them on Instagram that you could just use a different base and a top, but I don't actually have a base gel, so because I don't do gel and I don't do natural nail manicures or gel polish manicures, so I'm just going to go directly onto this tip. But you are going to want to make sure you follow their directions. There's a few videos on YouTube. I will link one below for you guys. So we're going to start off. You would start off by applying the base coat and then curing for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to apply the silver base, which is this one here. So this is the one that turns chrome. And the thing that's really cool about it, when you apply it, you actually have to let it sit, and I will hopefully get it in the camera to show you guys how it just kind of settles and turns chrome. It's actually a very cool effect. So I'm going to apply this just right over the entirety of the nail, and because I have a long nail, I'm just going to get a good amount here. Now, of course, you want to be careful when applying your colors to make sure you don't get it all over the skin, and if you do, just wipe it off immediately. Okay, so I've got it applied there. Now, I don't know if it is going to focus. I hope it will focus, and it'll show you guys that it's kind of changing. It's actually like moving. If you look really closely, you can see the little particles are just kind of dancing around on the nail, and it starts to just really smoothen out and go to a chrome finish. So you can see already over here, you see how smooth it is right there compared to right here. There's kind of little pits. So you do have to let it sit outside of the light before you cure and allow that to just do its magic. And I'm assuming because I don't have the base, because it does say that it should only take about 15 seconds, but I do find that I have to let it sit a little bit longer, and I'm assuming because I don't have the base on here, to help it along, but it does work. All right, so it has finally finished doing its little bit of magic. So you will see at the tip here, it didn't really cover, and there's a tiny little spot just up. It's hard to focus, I don't know why, but it's just at the tip here that's not quite 100% covered, but this is why I would highly recommend you guys need to get their base and the top. This is finicky stuff. It is not easy to apply, and that's probably why it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time, but the effect is beautiful. So I am going to just clean up this little bit of excess that has kind of seeped around here. I want to get that off of there, and I'm going to get this into the light for 30 seconds. So one other thing that they mentioned to me when I messaged them on Instagram was to make sure that you do not cap the free edge with the silver base, and that you make sure not to over cure. So only cure according to the recommendations that they give you. So like I said, it is a little bit finicky. It's a little bit, you know, particular to work with, but you guys, it is such a beautiful effect that I think it is absolutely worth it. So the next step would be to put on another layer of their base, but I don't have that. So I'm going straight in with my color. So I've got their jelly color here, number 4. It's a beautiful red. If you guys go onto their Instagram page, they have this all over their page, and it's so pretty. So it's just a jelly color. You guys know they're kind of semi-transparent. You use them to do glass nails or stained glass nails, all kinds of different nail art. So I'm now going to apply 1 coat of that over the entirety of the nail. And again, I'm going to cure this, and this also cures for 30 seconds. How cool is that? It's so pretty. This red is like a very deep kind of red. I have another one also that's more of a, I would say more of a brighter red, but I wanted to kind of go with a little bit more deeper colors for this design. Okay, you guys, look at the chromy goodness of that. So I am now going to get that into the light. I might just go over it again really quickly just to kind of make sure nothing is settling and pooling anywhere, that I've got a nice even coat. I'm going to get that into the light and cure for 30 seconds. Okay, so once it comes out of the light, you would top with their top coat. Again, I would recommend using all of their products just to make sure that there's no issues, but I don't have those, so I'm just going to be using my Madam Glam Tack Free doing this design. You guys know I do love the Young Nail Stain Resistant, but I don't like to waste it when I'm doing tutorials because that's what I use on my clients. So I'm going in with a layer of the shiny Tack Free top coat from Madam Glam. And then we're going to do our little design on top of this one. So while that's curing, I'm going to get my palette ready. You guys know Glitter Mix Canada gave this to me, and I absolutely love it. And I recently spoke about this stamping gel from Born Pretty in my November top 5 favorites, and I absolutely love it. You guys, if you watched that video, would know that I've ordered more of them. So I'm just going to squirt a little bit out. You really do not need a lot. This stuff is so pigmented. And I'm also going to be using one of my eBay nail art brushes. So I've got this one here. Again, I spoke about it in that same top 5 favorites in November. And again, I absolutely love it. So I had used it with a white gel polish. There's a little piece of glitter on there. So I'm not going to clean it because I'm going back into the white. But what I do find is if I just kind of roll it into the paint, it'll sort of loosen up those bristles a little bit. And then that way you have some mobility in your brush and it's not so stiff from having that old gel polish or gel paint in it. And then I'm also going to be using some clear acrylic. So I'm using the Young Nail Speed Clear because I'm going to be using that to mattify this design. So if you had a dispersion layer, you would obviously want to wipe that off. This is a tack-free top coat from Madam Glam, so I don't need to worry about that. It is completely ready to go and apply our nail art. So we're going to kind of be doing a candy stripe, but the curved candy stripe design, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to make sort of a snake. So I'm going to press harder here and pull down. If you guys have seen one of my other videos, I showed you guys how I do zebra stripes. It's the same type of motion. So I'm going to press down, drag, and lift my brush so that it becomes thinner at the tip. And then you can just refine it. You can make it a lot thicker or thinner. So I'm going to go back in here and make this area here just a little bit thicker. And like I said, this gel paint, you guys, this stamping paint is so pigmented. And it's very, very sticky. So oftentimes when we are using gel polish or gel paints to hand paint designs, if you don't do it on a matte top coat, I find that the brush kind of can slip a little bit, and we don't want that. We want it to slide nicely, and I do find with this, it just slides really, really nicely. So again, I'm just kind of defining the shape of this because this is going to be our guide. This is sort of what we are going to be building the rest of the lines off of. So next I'm going to go in with a thinner line, and I'm going to do it next to that one. So it's still going to have a little bit of bulk at the beginning, and then just kind of pulling and dragging to make it thinner at the tip. And again, just kind of widen it just slightly at the starting point, so you get that gradual thinning of it. And then we're going to do a thicker one again. I'm just going to put a very, very little skinny one right here. There we go. So now, because this gel paint is still wet, I am going to take my acrylic. So I've got my clear here, and I'm just going to get some type of a scoop. I've got this old big cuticle pusher, and I always use it to do this. And I'm just going to sprinkle in the clear acrylic into that wet white gel polish or gel paint, whatever you're using. So this is going to mattify the white. So then you're going to have that really cool contrast of that chromy red underneath and that matte white. So you just tap off the excess. You can leave it sit for a couple of seconds just to allow that acrylic powder to really kind of seep into that gel polish, and then just get it into the light to cure, and I'm going to cure for 60 seconds. All right, so it has now come out of the light, and I'm just going to dust off that excess acrylic powder. So you guys know I've talked about this brush in other videos. It's an old brush. I've literally had it from when I first started doing nails. I believe it was a CND one. It is to me just a beard shaving cream application brush, but this is the type of brush that I absolutely love for dusting off and glitters off of sugar nails or excess acrylic, because I find these little ones are a little bit too soft. These are awesome for dusting off clients' hands because they're so soft. And I personally do not like to use those little bristle brushes that we use for, you know, scrubbing dirt and things, because I find that those actually are kind of hard on the client's fingers. So this is really nice because it's sort of an in-between, and it gets all that excess glitter off and excess acrylic. But look at that. Voila. Is that not pretty? So that's the first nail. Super, super pretty. So I am quite certain if you have a jelly gel polish and a silver chrome pigment, you could achieve this look by applying your silver chrome like you normally would to do a chrome silver nail, and then just applying your jelly gel polish over top of that. I'm quite certain that that would work as well if you did not have the Joy Mia stuff. So this is nail number 1. Let's get into nail number 2 is going to be the infamous Christmas light nail. I had to add this in because, you guys, this has been a staple in our nail art for so many years. We've all done them and I absolutely love them. So I'm going to do it on this nail. So for this, you're going to need a little bit of a white. I've just got the Young Nails core here, core white. It's the extra, extra, extra white because I'm going to be doing a very, very thin layer of that. And you guys know, you can't get this anymore. This is my custom mix of the Diamante glitter from Art Glitter that no longer exists. Magpie Beauty does have one called Angel, and it does look like it's quite close to this, but that it might have a little bit more iridescent in it than this one does. This is the absolute perfect white glitter, and I can't get it anymore. So the reason I'm going to be putting this core white on the underside, or just putting a layer of this before this, is because I really wanted this to stand out and be very, very white. It is a very white glitter, but if you just put it directly onto the client's nail, it does have a little transparency to it, and I want it to stand out very white. So we're going to be doing that. And then I'm going back to my roots, you guys. I am pulling out my acrylic paints simply because I have not got my whole collection of the Born Pretty stamping gel yet, and I do like working with acrylic paints. So I've got this green one here called Holly Green, how fitting for today's design, from Americana. I've got this one here called Alizarin Crimson, I think is what it's called. So it's a nice deep red, and then I've just got a white and black. Also, I'm just going to be using the black to draw the wire part of the light, and the white to just kind of highlight these little lights. So I've got that also, and then of course whatever top coat you're going to use, and I'm just going to be using the Madame Glam. So I'm going to start off by applying a thin layer of my white. Now if you were working with gel, you could do the same thing. You would just apply a thin little layer of your white gel and then cure, and then you would go in with your white glitter however you want to build it in, sprinkle it on, whatever it is that you like to do. So I'm just going to go in with my white here. Now because this is a very pigmented white, that helps to make you be able to keep the layers very thin. You've heard me talk before in other videos that when I apply my acrylic, we want to keep them as thin as possible. There's a little piece of glitter in there. So I'm just pulling it down over the nail, and that will be enough. I just wanted to white it out a little bit. And you want to ideally let that cure before moving on to adding your white glitter. But I'm just gonna keep on trucking. So now I've got my glitter here. And again, you don't want to have to add a super thick layer because we don't want it to get overly thick. So I'm just going to apply that. Oh, you guys, this color, it's going to be a sad day when I run out of it, let me tell you. I've had a couple of other girlfriends mention to me as well that they're like hoarding their last jar of this. So I'm just feathering it down, making sure I cover the entire nail. There we go. And there might be a little spot over here that just needs a little bit extra. All right, so that is that. And then I'm going to cap this with clear acrylic. Okay, so while that is curing, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite thing about Christmas now versus when you were a kid? I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, I loved the presents. I'm quite certain that I absolutely looked forward to opening the gifts. Not that I don't like gifts now, but of course as a kid, like that's just the hugest thing. But also because my youngest brother is 12 years younger than me, when my middle brother and I got older and, you know, we knew the sitch with Santa, we obviously wanted it to still be very special for him, and it was always so exciting just like seeing him opening his gifts and being so excited. I just remember, you know, there was quite a period of time where we all kind of revolved Christmas around him because he was just still the youngest. And I'm fairly certain that he also figured out the sitch with Santa at some point and still just played it off. Because I feel like when you believe in Santa, you get more gifts. So I'm sure he just played that off. But now as an adult, honestly, I get so excited about the food because, you know, we wait all year for all of these particular, you know, seasonal Christmas delicious dishes. And I love spending time with my family and playing games and being silly and goofy. I love decorating for Christmas, all the sparkle. So yeah, I would say that those are kind of my different things, but I would love to know in the comment section below what you guys remember from your childhood was your favorite thing at Christmas and what your favorite thing is now. So let's see if this is cured enough. Okay, so I'm just going to finish file this now and then I'm going to show you the design. Alright guys, so I have just filed this nail and buffed it so that it's pretty smooth, and I'm going to go in with my little Christmas lights. So we're going to start off with our black acrylic paint. Now I have another brush from eBay and I try to use these ones for my acrylic paints and my other ones with the glittery blue and pink handle for my gel paints. Just because when cleaning them, I want to be able to clean them properly. So I'm just going to push this up at the top here. And then I've also got just a little dapping dish with some water in it so that I can loosen up the paint if I need to. So this black paint is actually pretty good. So basically what you're going to do is just create little curls. So basically we're just doing the wire of the Christmas lights, and I'm just going to go down through the nail. And you could of course use gel paints or gel polishes. So I'm just going to start up here and we're going to create a little loop. Like so. Got all my little loops. So now you want to decide where you want to put your lights. So sometimes I like to put them on the loop, so I'm just going to add a little post, just like that, just a little tick. And I could do another one here. And another one here. So now I'm going to go in with my red and green, and the green has already started to kind of create a little skin on top because acrylic paint just dries on its own. So I am going to loosen this one up a little bit with some water just because it is a little on the thick side, and I'm just going to alternate the lights. So I'll start here, and you're just creating little teardrops basically is what you're creating. So you want like a little point and then a little fat end, just like that. Want to go in and highlight them. So that's where the little white paint comes from. So I'm just going into my white acrylic paint and I'm just getting a tiny amount on that tip. And you're just going to draw a little white highlight on all of your little light bulbs. And there we go. That is it. So now, of course, with acrylic paint, you will have to make sure that you give it a few minutes to dry because it does not cure in a UV lamp or anything like that. Sometimes I will get my clients to stick their hands in the UV lamp just because it's warm, and obviously anything, if you have warm air, it makes things harden faster. So I'm just going to give this a few seconds, and usually what I'll do when the client's nail comes out, if I'm kind of having a hard time seeing if anything is wet, I will just take my finger and I'll just lightly tap and see if I get any bit of transfer. And if I get any bit of transfer at all, that just means that they're not quite cured or hardened yet, or dry, I should say. So I'm going to go in with my shiny top coat. Of course, all of these nails are going to be shiny because, well, it's Christmas and I want to see some sparkle. So I'm just going to top coat this one for you guys. So pretty. I love it against that white background, that white sparkle. Now I always do 2 coats of top coat over my acrylic paints with my clients to make sure that they are extra sealed. Alright guys, so I want to show you Ginger's nails that she did. They are so freaking cute. I'm obsessed with the gnome. I have never ever actually done a gnome on anyone's nails. I know it's super popular, but I've just never done it. And when she sent me the photo of her set, I was like, what the heck? It is so cute. Everything matches so nicely. I love the plaid nails. I absolutely love the color tones that she went with. The green is more of like a muted green, and combined with that bright red, it is so pretty. So I absolutely love these. You guys have to check out her channel. So just a little history on how Ginger and I met. I have been following Ginger's YouTube channel for quite some time because, as you guys know, I was transitioning from using a bunch of different gel polishes to solely using Madam Glam, and she was the girl I was watching because she does so many awesome comparison videos. She's one of the first people that gets their new collections, so every time she posted, I was watching these Madam Glam videos like crazy. And she also does nail art, which you guys know I love nail art. So I had a question about gel polish. I think it was a color I was looking to replace, one that they didn't carry anymore, and I was asking her which one would compare, and that's just how our conversation started. We hit it off. She is the sweetest girl. I absolutely love her accent. She probably thinks I have an accent, but I think she has an accent, and she's super sweet. She's very creative, and I love her. So you guys must check out her channel. So for this one, again, I'm building some glitter in my acrylic, so I am going to be using my Speed Clear to cap, and then I have this green glitter mix here, and I've actually added a little bit of one of the ones from Glitter Mix Canada that I got, this one here called Green. So the green that I have, if you look on the lid, it's a very fine green, but I did add some of this into here because I just liked the contrast of the next size up glitter. And then to add even more beautifulness, I've got these 2 chunky glitter mixes. So this is like a traditional green. This is like what that is, very green. And this one is more on the teal-y kind of color, but I love the combination of this with that darker chrome red that I did from Joy Mia. So I'm going to be using all 3 of those and then just capping in clear. And then again, I'm going to be using my white stamping gel, and I'm also going to be using, because I'm going to be doing a little bit of a sugar design, this super fine iridescent glitter. I have no idea where I got it because, as you guys know, if you've been watching my videos from the beginning, I did not put labels on the bottoms of my glitters when I originally repotted them. So like 80% of them, I have no idea where they're from. But it's a super fine traditional iridescent glitter. So we're going to be using that. So when you are doing sugar nails, it is best if you can find the absolute finest glitter. I don't know what the size of it is, like maybe 0.02 or 0.04 or something like that. But you want the finest glitter you can. So I'm going to start off by building my acrylic. So I'm going to open that little pot there. I'm going to open that little pot. And this guy, I love this green, you guys. It's like a tealy green. I love it. So let's get to building. So of course, whenever you are working on clients, I always recommend that you put a thin layer of clear between the color and the client's nail bed so that when you go to file and do a fill, you do not have to file down into the client's nail. You just file down to that clear layer. But I'm not doing that because we're not working on a person right now. So I'm going to go into that green glitter. We're going to do a thin layer of that. So now while that is wet, I'm going to go in with my wet brush, dip into that glitter there, and I'm just going to start patting some of that green in and around, and then go into the other green as well and add some of that. I love the combination of the two colors. You guys, I did a set of nails, oh gosh, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I did like a bright red with a bright teal. I will try to find the photo and post it here. They were one of my absolute favorite sets because the color combination was just so damn cool. So now you can go in if you have any pockets and just kind of refill in those areas. You don't want to have any pockets, you don't want to see through, but a lot of times you can just get some good coverage with that chunky stuff. So you just want to make sure you're keeping it thin because we are going to cap with clear. All right, so that is that. If that ain't pretty, I don't know what is. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff and then we'll cap and clear, and then I'll finish file and buff and I'll be right back. Okay guys, again, while that's curing, I want to know, what is your favorite holiday treat? So for me, it has to be my Nona's lasagna because she makes it once a year for Christmas. We get it every year. And she is literally the sweetest person, you guys. So like I said, every Christmas we have her homemade lasagna, homemade noodles, homemade sauce, homemade bechamel, like everything is homemade. And because we're not able to get together this year for Christmas, because there is 31 of us now in total, she has individually made lasagnas for each family. And when I say individuals, you would think like a, you know, little like lasagna where everyone gets like a little piece. No, she sent me home. There's 8 of us, and she sent me home with 2 huge lasagnas. So I might just not tell the rest of the family that I got 2 and possibly keep 1 for myself. I don't know. Just don't tell anybody. So that for sure is one of my favorite things. And then simply, I love peanut butter squares. You know the little peanut butter squares with the marshmallows? You guys, those are my absolute favorite. I look forward to them every year. I know you can make them throughout the year, and I know people do make them throughout the year. I've actually never made them. I know they're super easy, but they are my absolute #1 favorite Christmas treat. If somebody made me a tray, I would probably eat the whole tray in an hour. I would eat them till I puke. I swear to God. I am obsessed. So let me know down below what your favorite holiday treat is. All right guys, so this design is going to be an icicle nail. So you could do the base matte as well. I actually really like when the base of the nail is matte and then the icicles are shiny, but I want to keep everything super, super sparkly. So I am going to just top coat with my Madam Glam tack-free shiny top coat on this one as well. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of top coat pouring. There you go. Look at that shine, baby. Look at that shine. So I'm going to get this in the light, cure for 60 seconds, and then we are going to start with our icicles. Right, so here we are with our tack-free top-coated nail. I've got that Born Pretty gel paint here. So how I like to start is I go around the cuticle area, so just the perimeter, and I start by drawing 1 icicle down the nail, and I give a little curve to it, a little wiggle. Now, I don't generally go all the way to the side because I don't feel you really need to, but you can. So for this one here, let's go all the way to the side and create another longer, maybe wiggly icicle. So with the icicles, you want them to be fatter at the top and skinnier at the bottom. And then I basically go around the other side and do the same thing. So again, we're going to go around the perimeter, and we're going to go down the nail and give a little squiggle. So that's where you start, and then you can go just directly into the middle, and you can do them all different lengths. You want them to be all different lengths because, as we know, icicles are not all the same. That's good. And then I'm going to take my glitter And we're going to sprinkle that directly into the wet white gel paint, just like we did with the clear acrylic on the first one. Again, you can let it sit for a few seconds just to kind of let that glitter seep into that gel polish, gel paint, and then we're going to get that into the light. And that one is done. And of course, once it comes out, you just got to give it a good old dust to get that excess glitter off. Very, very simple nail. This is 100% something you can implement into your salon. It takes no time at all. And it is so, so pretty. All right, guys, so for the next one, you're going to need, I'm using a red acrylic. This is actually an I&M acrylic. I just have potted it in here probably because my jar was almost empty, and I just always put my acrylics in these little jars. So I've got a red acrylic, and I've got some monomer, and I've actually put a little bit of acetone in my monomer because I'm going to be doing a 3D bow. I have not done a 3D bow for years, but I thought it would be very nice for this design. And then I'm actually going to be using my Ugly Duckling. This is how old my brush is. It's still called the Swan 3D acrylic brush. That's how long and how old this brush is. So it's a little acrylic 3D brush. It's a really nice brush, so I'm going to be using that to sculpt my little bow. And for the color of the nail, I've just gone in and done that same white glitter the exact same way that I did with the Christmas light nails. So I'm going to start by creating my ribbon. So I'm going to create a long strip this way and then a long strip this way. So like I said, it's been quite a while since I've done this. So I'm actually going to, because I'm going to be needing quite a large, you know, strip of acrylic, I'm going to actually go in with just my regular brush. And I want to, so the addition of the acetone into the monomer actually makes it cure a little bit faster, so that, you know, you're not sitting here for hours waiting for this acrylic to cure. So I am hoping that I can get this line kind of placed on here before it cures and make it look nice. Now right here it's a little thin, but that's okay because my bow is going to go in the center there. So then you just want to make sure that you get all of any kind of pigmentation that has kind of ran onto that white. You want to get that off. And then we're going to now put the ribbon going this way. So obviously we will need smaller little bits. So that is that. There is my ribbon. Alright, so my ribbon has hardened enough that now I can go in and make the actual bow part. So I'm just going to tap my powder down. So I'm going to grab a good size little bead, just like that. So it's not super dry, but it's not overly wet at all. And I'm just going to place that down. Now I'm going to create sort of a triangle with it. So it's going to be pointier in this side here, and then it's going to go triangularly out that way, if that makes sense. When you're doing 3D acrylic, you want to try to let it get a little bit on the matte side. When you're building something like a bow, you want to sort of start out with the, you know, general shape, but you see how it's starting to matte a little bit. So that's when I'm going to go in and sort of press out like this and create that bow. And that sort of that triangle, right? So I'm going to kind of indent it here, and then you actually can go and take your brush and create a little pocket here, like that. And then create another pocket as well up here. I'm just kind of going in like that. I know it kind of looks crazy right now. And then I'm just going to sort of push this down a little bit in the center because I'm going to be putting a center part of the bow, and I don't want it to get super, super thick. Just kind of play a little bit like that. So I know that that looks sort of like a diaper at this point. If you turn it this way, it looks like a diaper. So the baby's legs would come out here. So essentially you're creating two diapers on each side. So I'm going to repeat that on this side. All right, so that side is done. So now I'm just going to create the center. Again, just placing a smaller bead, and I'm going to let it get matte. So once it starts matting a little bit, I'm going to press it in the center like that. And then I'm also going to kind of press it in the sides a little bit, just to kind of give that sort of tied look, I guess. And press it on the top as well, just like that. And then now we also have to create the little tails of the ribbon. So again, I'm going to use my other brush because I do need a little bit bigger of a piece. All right, so there we go. Now, if you absolutely wanted your bow to be shiny, you would just go over it with a very small brush and a very, very thin layer of the top coat. I don't want it to be shiny because I like the contrast between the shiny background and the matte bow, so I'm going to just leave that bow as it is. It's still curing over here, that's why it's still a little bit shiny there, but that is it. So I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to work on the last nail. So the next nail is going to be another glitter acrylic. So I've got this red glitter here. It's a fine glitter. You can use this one from Glitter Mix Canada called Cherry. It's a really nice fine red glitter. And then I'm also going to be using Red Rave from the Glitter Mix Canada company as well, because it's beautiful and it's kind of that deep red that I'm going for. So I will just end up sprinkling a little bit of this out onto my paper towel because I'm going to just pat it into the top of that red glitter mix. So I'm going to start off, again, you would want to start with a clear layer first, and then I'm just going to go in and grab my red glitter mix. Okay, so that is wet. So now I'm going to go in with my chunky Red Rave glitter that I absolutely love. I might need more than what I've put out here. Yeah, I think I need some more. So I'm just going to shake a little more out here. You do want to make sure that this is set before you go ahead and cap, just so that things don't move around on you. Alright, so I've got the nail shaped and buffed, and as you can see, a little bit of the acrylic has kind of chipped off of these glitters right here. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to leave it because I want to get going on the nail art. But obviously you would want to make sure that that doesn't happen, and it happened because the acrylic was not fully cured when I started filing, so it just easily chipped off. So just be careful of that if you are doing acrylic. So I'm going to start off, we're going to do a little holly berry bush, or whatever you want to call it, sprig, I guess. So I'm going to start off with this dark green, and I'm just going to add a little bit of water just to thin it just slightly. And we're going to start off by creating 2 lines from the corner. So I'm going to do one this way, and then I'm also going to do one this way. And you want to make sure that this one on this side is just a little bit longer, so it doesn't have to be perfect, just like that. And then you're just basically going to create little brush strokes in this motion. So it's going to go out and flick in a U shape, down, out, and flick. So it goes pretty quickly. Now you do want your paint to be on the wetter side for this so that it drags nicely against the acrylic that is smooth. Now you also can apply a matte top coat, and that helps the acrylic paint and gel paints and everything to flow nicely as well. But this nail is pretty smooth. I buffed it really smooth, so it should work just fine. So we're just creating little kind of like a holly garland, I guess you could say. So it looks like sort of like what a tree would look like if you cut that whole bottom part off. We're just kind of creating long little sort of tree looking things. And we're going to mix the white paint into the green a couple of times just to give us several different shades of green. I actually did a couple of these holly berries on clients. I'll try to post a picture here as well for you guys to see the ones that I did on my clients. Super cute. And again, if you need to go in and kind of re-wet that green up a little bit, go right ahead and do that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one here. And of course there will be some overlapping at the top part here, and that's okay. So just continue on painting your little green lines. Now this first layer is kind of going to look a little like messy and not very defined, and you might be questioning what I'm doing, but it will work out. So, and I like to just kind of add a few like sort of longer pieces just so that it looks more natural. Okay, so that's what we've got. So now ideally you want to let that dry. So I'm going to go in now, and I'm going to take some of my white over here, and I'm also going to take some of this green, and I'm going to make a lighter tone. So like so. I might add just a little more green just to make it a little shade lighter than the first. So that's perfect. And again, you want to thin it out. That's how you're going to get those thinner lines, is just by thinning out the paint. And then kind of clean off your brush so you don't have like a big blob on there. And then we're going to basically create lighter lines. So this is where it starts to kind of define and just give that dimension. And this is absolutely something you can implement in your services, because I have done it on several clients and I've been able to get them done in time. We are going to make an even lighter shade, one more shade lighter. So I'm just going to take this green here now, plop it over here, and add some more white to that to make that even lighter. So we want this one pretty light. Clean off your brush and add some water just to thin it out, because we want those thin little lines. and do the same thing. And then I actually go back in with the dark green again and thin it out this time. And I do go back in a little bit with down the center just to kind of create more of that like center line that we had. Just to define it a little bit more. And then I will go back over with the dark green as well, and it just kind of lightens it up and blends it in a little bit. You don't have to do it over too much of the area, just a little bit. There you go, you have some pretty little holly. So of course, now we need some berries. So I'm actually going to use a gel polish because I do want them to be 3D and stand out. So I'm going to top coat this first. Again, you would always do 2 coats of top coat over your acrylic paint. So I'm just going to apply 1 for the purpose of this video. And again, you want to make sure that your acrylic paint is dry, so you can just go in and do a little tap test and check if there is any transfer. Because this paint was quite thinned out with water and we applied the lines so thin, it'll dry very, very quickly. So I'm going to go in and top coat. I will cure it, and then we're going to do our holly berries. Okay, so for the holly, I am going to create one berry at a time because I want them to have a little bit of texture to them and a thickness to them, and I don't want them to slop before they cure. So I'm going to take this Mother Chucker from Madame Glam, and I'm going to create 1 ball here like that, and then I'm going to get it in the light and flash cure that for 10 seconds. And then we're going to do all 3 of the balls like that. And you can build them up as big as you want. Now, some clients do not like texture, so you just wouldn't do this. You would just put the berries on underneath with the holly and then top coat over top, and you would just do them with a gel paint or a gel polish that was, or the acrylic paint like I did, that was thin. All right, so I just took one of my fine little detail brushes and I went back into that Born Pretty gel paint and I just created little highlights. I just drew little highlights onto my berries, and then I added a little bit of that Madame Glam top coat to seal those in, and that is it. So let me show you all 5 of them together because they're so pretty. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out with me on my first collaboration video with Miss Ginger Sparks from Gels and Gems. If you guys have not checked out her channel, please do so, and don't forget to subscribe. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I love how these turned out. I don't know which one is my favorite. I would love to know in the comment section below which one is your favorite. I'm pretty proud of how that bow turned out, considering it's been many years since I have done one. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me and all of the support you have given me throughout this year. I want to wish you all the happiest of holidays. I know this year is going to be very different for all of us, but we have to make the best of it because Christmas is here, there is sparkle everywhere, and I hope that your hearts are filled with nothing but joy and your bellies are filled with lots and lots of goodies. So if you like this video, please share it with someone else. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And as always guys, have an amazing day.